Here in Qonda, what we do is help companies have a new way of hiring, right? A new way of recruiting. The traditional methods are not working to move forward into the future. And it's giving us some very nice, powerful tools to be able to talk with the candidates, to make a better recruiting and a better pre-filter, pre-scheduling as well. So that helps a lot for companies to actually get more candidates. Instead of just going into sending a resume and matching keywords, it's actually a better understanding of the whole system of the candidate. So this makes a lot of sense, and that's what we're trying to do. Our vision is one click to hire, just giving one click into the platform and being able for the AI to take care of the entire process. And you just make the decision, which is a candidate that best suits the culture of your company, and give them the contract, sign it, but the AI will take care of everything for you. It's going to be a better way to hire than ever.
All right. Hello and welcome to episode 23 of the GrowthAmped podcast series. We are joined today by Ricardo Altamirano of Qonda. Qonda offers an AI-powered recruiting solution that automates the hiring process. This includes using AI to screen candidates and schedule interviews, placing traditional job search methods. They also leverage messaging tools like WhatsApp to reach job seekers, particularly in Latin and Asian markets. Before we dive into our guest introductions, for our first-time listeners, here's how this podcast usually goes. We start off with the introductions, of course, and then our guests will talk about their company background, followed by what challenges they're facing right now. And then we will finally wrap up with some future plans. So without further ado, Ricardo, bienvenidos. Welcome to the GrowthAmped podcast.
No, thank you. Thank you. And thank you for having me here. I'm really happy to be talking about it and see how it goes.
Awesome. The pleasure is ours. We love hearing from founders like yourself and using our platform to share what you guys are building. So very excited and great to have you on here. So please, tell us about yourself and about your company.
Yeah, thanks. So thanks again for having me here. Here in Qonda, what we do is help companies have a new way of hiring, right? A new way of recruiting. The traditional methods are not working any longer. It's not the way to move forward into the future. AI is not even the trend, right? It's actually something that it has to be done, has to be included in every company. And it's giving us some very nice, powerful tools to be able to talk with the candidates, to make a better recruiting and a better pre-filter, pre-scheduling as well. So that helps a lot for companies to actually get more candidates. Instead of just going into sending a resume and having like matching keywords, it's actually a better understanding of the whole system of the candidate. So this makes a lot of sense, and that's what we're trying to do, right? We're helping companies and mainly recruiters to have better tools for better recruiting and have better talent within the companies.
So given that you're the founder of the company, tell us what a typical day looks like for you.
It looks crazy. Like right now, that's why you can listen to dogs at the background. So I move all over the country. For example, right now we're a Texan company, a US-based company, but we work a lot with Latin American companies. So we work with SMEs, and I move all along the country, visiting clients, seeing what their problems is. I visit the plants, the manufacturing plants, the restaurants, the stores, to actually see what the problem it is, right? See what type of issues they're having. So right now I'm very into understanding very deeply the problem. So our tools are actually meeting and giving solutions to the recruiters. So that's part of my everyday, right? It's visiting clients, going to the offices, presenting, making a lot of demos, and living all over Latin America and see how everything goes. So that's part of my everyday as a founder. And of course, talking with my team. I think that's a very important thing. Always be talking with your team, always try to solve it, and be very deeply involved into what the problem is and how you can solve it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I imagine every day you wake up in a new city, in a new place, meeting new people, trying to solve new problems, and just wake up the next day and do it all over again, right?
Yeah, that's it. It's also fun. You get to go to different restaurants, try different foods, and meet a lot of different people and actually understand the problems they're living. Even though Latin America kind of looks the same in some places as a problem, but sometimes the way you have to tackle the problem is completely different from one city to another. So you have to understand that sometimes WhatsApp is not the best tool. Maybe it's Facebook, or maybe it's just phone calls, or maybe it's SMS or email. So it depends on each of the regions and the cities. So it's part of what makes it very interesting, because it's not all the days the same.
Absolutely. When you and I talked prior to this podcast, you mentioned something about job seekers using messaging tools to find a job. And you kind of talked a little bit about that right now as well. For some of our audience, this might be a new concept. So if you don't mind, can you tell us a little bit more about how does that work?
Yeah, it's something very interesting what's happening in the market. We were used to candidates just putting their resume out and see if they can find a job. They will look at the job, they send the resume and wait. And now that's not the way they are moving forward. Mainly in the front line and operational jobs, they are just seeking all over the place, right? What I mean is they try to talk to different companies and see if the job actually fit their needs. It's more about like shopping around for a product. It's the same as going around and see if the job makes sense for them. So they want to talk with the company, see if the values of the company actually fit and match what they are looking for. If the salary, if the job position as well, or the working hours. So it's very interesting because they want to talk with the company. They just don't want to be like a front where they can just send the resume and that's it, or send an email and keep waiting for the response of the company. They are moving forward, they're trying to talk with them. So that's a new way of recruiting. If you want to recruit people, you need to be able to talk with them. You need to be able to have a conversational interface. So that's what ChatGPT brought into the table a few years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like when there's a job seeker that's looking for a job that's applying to an agency that's powered by your platform, are they interacting with the AI first in the chat, or do they interact with somebody that is the human behind the wall?
No, on the first part of the process, they always talk with an AI. It's
Okay.
completely AI based from the beginning until they schedule the interview. Once they schedule the interview, what we believe is that the human cannot be replaced by an AI. The human has to be in the loop, and the recruiter is the one that has to be doing the interviews. So that's very important for us. The first part is completely AI based. Then the recruiter comes in, makes an interview, and through the platform, it keeps making the follow up with the
Sure.
candidate.
Okay. So the AI serves as your first level of filter before the recruiter engages with the candidate that makes it past that filter, then.
Yes, exactly. So
Okay.
it makes a lot of sense because it's very important, very interesting. A lot of candidates, and for example, in Latin America, they are sending WhatsApps to the
Yes.
recruiter, and they are sending the messages after working hours. So we're talking about after 6 p.m. during like 3 a.m. in the morning. And if they don't get an answer like 1 hour after they send the message, they are moving along to another company and are looking for different ways to find a job. So that's the main thing that we do. It's impossible for a human to just keep answering this type of messages Saturdays, Sundays, and during the after working hours. So that makes a lot of sense for the AI to be the one that actually answers the first part of it.
Yeah. I mean, it helps that the AI never sleeps, right?
Yeah, and hopefully it doesn't dream.
Yeah. Hallucinations,
Yeah,
another issue, right?
a
So,
big topic, huh? Yeah.
yes, absolutely. So this sounds like a great concept. You also mentioned that there were some plans to expand into the U.S. market. Do you want to talk to us about that?
Yeah. So we started in Latin America and now we're going back to our roots. We're tapping into the US market, and our first approach is going to be email. We also want to go into the to SMS as a tool, of course, iMessages, but email is going to be our first approach.
Okay.
But we're going to change the paradigm of how we're going to do the emails. It's not just receiving an email. It's actually the AI taking control of those emails and being able to respond, being able to match the profile of the candidate and make a back and forward through the conversation. So
Sure.
instead of just sending like, oh, thank you for your email, it's like, thank you for your profile. You understand it. See if it matches for the job openings that you have and try to enrich the profile, because a person is not just a resume. A person is more
Right.
than that. So you need to
Right.
have a conversation to actually understand it, to enrich the profile of the person and see if it actually meets the requirements and the culture of the company. So that's going to be our first approach in the US market.
Awesome. Just taking a little step deeper, right? When we go through the candidate screening process, is there any scoring that the AI does and organizes for the recruiter so they know who to talk to first, who's got a higher match percentage to the job description versus, let's say ordering them high to low so they can be more strategic with their time because their humans' time is always limited.
Yes, definitely. So we have different layers of matching a candidate. The first layer that we do is if it actually meet the minimum requirements of the job position. If it doesn't meet the minimum requirements, they get classified on a different database. So you have all the candidates that have applied, but does not meet any of the requirements that you need. But that database is not something that you need to just trash it out, right? It's something that you need to enrich it because the person keeps evolving, and you don't know if in the future you're gonna need those type of profiles into in your company. So that database is gonna be part of what you're getting, and through the time, the AI will be enriching it at that database. That's the first layer. The second layer is the people that actually meet the requirements that you're asking for. So those people are gonna be registered into the platform. So they are getting matched into the different requirements. And then comes a very interesting challenge because the AI is giving us this superpower, and it's a very powerful tool that can actually make a match and can give us a score on how top or low rank they can be. But you have to match it also with the rules of the company. So you're getting this very powerful tool that can match you, but you also have the rules of the company that might be outdated. So how can you actually get the new rules that are getting into the AI that are able to process a lot of with the context of the company? So instead of just like crashing over, you need to be able to get and reach both AI and context of the company to actually get a better ranking. So these ranks are going to be even better than what we had, because the usual or the former ranks that we had, it's mainly of just keywords, right?
Okay.
Or some
Got it.
questions that usually we're doing through the recruiting process. Right now is more than that. That's when we are establishing and we're introducing into our system the graph racks, because graphs are getting us further into it and understanding the relations better to match the candidate with the job positions.
Got it. And then I'm guessing there's also some type of retention, right? So if you have 15 candidates applying to a role, three of them are a good match and they've proceeded with the interview. The other 12 can sit in, a database where if there's a new rec that comes out, there's some type of matching for those that are already in the database. So kind of help the recruiter get a head start without having to restart the whole process again.
Exactly. Because that way, the AI is going to be your co-pilot. It's going to uh, be with you all the time as a recruiter, giving you recommendations. Once you open a new position, it's not starting the process all over. It's saying like, these are the people that have already applied to the job position, that have already been interested in what you're asking for. They have a lot of potential. Let me see if I can enrich those profiles. See what are the difference if the person has changed through the years, because maybe they applied like 1 year ago, but 1 year ago they made a lot of progress, right? They may have different courses, they may have different job experiences, and they can enrich that profile. And then instead of moving all over with new candidates, try to get your database that has already been there.
So it's literally taking every candidate and at that point enriching the data by looking at their LinkedIn or whatever other sources are out there.
Yeah, and asking, you know, it's not
Oh,
just what is happening into the LinkedIn or into the Facebook or the social networks. It's actually going and asking the candidate, making maybe an call or sending an email or sending a message to see what has changed through the years, right?
Sure. Sure. Brilliant. So this sounds really exciting. So tell me, with regards to the industry, right? What trends are you seeing right now?
It's quite interesting. I think one of the main trends is the job boards are getting outdated. People are actually trying to see if they can find a job through ChatGPT or through Claude or Perplexity. There's a very interesting challenge because people are able to go into these LLMs and ask them to actually match their resume to the job opening, right? So they enrich their profile even though they're not meet the requirements. So
Sure.
those are part of the trends, like talking between AIs about if your profile is going to be part of the company or not.
Right. Wow. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. You can source the right candidates, but the candidates can also try to fit the job description by getting creative.
Exactly. So that's
Yeah.
why it's very important for you to have an AI that actually gets into a conversation with the candidate, not
Right.
just getting the profile and that's it. So that's also very important.
Yeah. So that being said, right, how do these trends impact your business and your growth strategy?
For now, I think there's one thing that I'm saying that some of the things that are happening, for example, with the job boards, some job boards are getting, I don't know if scared about what's going on. So they're making a lot of barriers for you to try to be part of the job boards and publish your job openings. So that's one thing. But also it impacts us in a positive way because with the LLMs and with these tools like ChatGPT, Claude, or Perplexity, or Gemini, you can actually be part of you can rank like the job openings of your clients and also take advantage of all the power that you're getting from it.
Yeah.
So I think that's gonna be a very positive impact. I'm a very positive guy in going forward into the future.
For sure. I think you guys are onto something, and it's going to create a lot of efficiency for a lot of people that are either seeking or trying to fill a role. So tell me, as a business owner, right, what metrics are you most focused on improving?
Right now, retention, I think is one of the main ones. I'm looking a lot of if we're getting some clients getting even more involved into the process. So getting more candidates through our process, being able to recruit faster. So that's a very important metric for us. We're making the comparison between what they had for us and what they are having right now, and that trend is something that we're very interested into. So retention is part of it, number of candidates processed, and the other metric that I'm taking a lot of vision into it and very being very obsessive is our token consumption. Because right now our business lives because of token consumption, right? If we get over the top of token consumption, then we are not getting into our efficient margins. So making our conversations more efficient, being able to make some tweaks into it. So our token consumption actually makes sense. So those are the three metrics that I'm taking very seriously.
Absolutely. All right. In your words, who is your ideal customer, and or what do they look like?
They're a company that usually they need to hire a lot of people constantly. So we're talking about maybe restaurant group owners, manufacturing plants, logistic companies that they have a lot of turnover rates, right? So they need to keep hiring people. And the other is the companies that keep expanding. So there's a lot of startups that expand constantly that they need to keep hiring engineers. There's also a lot of, for example, when companies are establishing now again into the US, manufacturing companies and then all that, you need to keep hiring people to keep expanding. So those are the type of companies that we are looking for. So those are our main clients.
Nice. Does the platform also do screening for, like, you know, is somebody legally allowed to work? Do they have the right papers before they pass this on to the HR person, right?
Yeah, and we got into a very boring part of the process because one of the things that the recruiters have always tell us is that it's very frustrating to be able to gather all the documents for hiring a candidate, and after that is manually typing all the information of those documents, right? Once you
Right.
get those documents, you need to input their data into a SharePoint or into a Smartsheet or any system
Sure.
to do it manually. So in this case, we are using the power of the LLMs and the
Yeah.
power of different AI tools to actually get the data and write it into the proper system. So that sounds very boring, but
Yeah.
it helps a lot of our clients.
It cuts a lot of admin time, so I can imagine.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
let's talk about some of the challenges, right? What's working well for your business and what's been challenging?
Working well, I think our product has worked very well. And in this new AI era, you can code faster, you can ship product even faster than ever. The thing that is kind of lacking from our side and it's very challenging is the sales part. Having a very well established sales process is something that we are currently have a lot of challenge, right? To have our team understanding how to go and tap into the market. The selling cycles are quite long, so we need to get them shorter. That's part of the main challenges that we're having. It's mainly on sales.
Yeah. Makes sense because I think the awareness might be lacking in the industry, right? So from a maturity standpoint, it might be that these, the organizations that are trying to add efficiency are not aware that something like this exists. Maybe this is just a speculation, but you're in the business, so what do you think about that?
Oh, that's a very good question, and actually got me thinking a lot. What I believe is that there's a lot of noise out there.
Right.
I'm seeing that there's every time you say AI, it gets excited, right? Like people gets very excited about it. It's like, oh, okay, this is gonna be fun and it's gonna solve everything. There's a lot of noise of what actually works and what doesn't, right? Every time you go into social media, you look at AI is going to be the best thing ever, and the next post is AI is going to be the worst thing ever. So it's not a medium. It's always or good or bad or
It's
terrible.
extreme.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's totally opposite, right? It's very extreme, and that makes the decision maker to actually be very confused of the different signals that they're seeing into the market. So I think that's part of the sales process, right? That's why the cycle sometimes gets very long. And also, I keep getting this question about like the paper of MIT saying that 95% of the pilots of AI are not successful, right? So
Uh-huh.
they say like, okay, so AI is not ready, maybe, and that's part of the cycle. You need to be able to let them know that AI is safe if you deliver it properly and if you take care of the data. So I think most of the failed processes and the failed projects is because they are not taking care of the data, right? They're just putting things up there and just wrapping the product into a LLM, and that's it. And that's why they fail. But I think that noise in the market, it makes the sales process a bit longer.
So let's look into the future a little bit, right? What where do you want to see Qonda in the next 6 to 12 months, and then also longer term?
Yeah, I want to see it explode. I want to see a lot of companies just go into the system and start using it. But in order for us to get there, we are establishing different steps. And the main one currently is to have a self-serving platform. And it's very challenging, right? For us to making the AI work in the proper manner, you need to establish the proper instructions. You need to give a proper prompt. You have to have a very enriched data order in that data. And in that self-serving part, it takes a lot of different variables and we need to take care of that. But I want to see it so recruiters can just come into the platform and being able to create their own agent in a very easy way. But the agent has to be reliable, right? We need to take care of a lot of hallucinations. So that's what I want to see into the future in the next 6 to 12 months, to have a self-serving platform that any recruiter can just come in and create their own agent. The companies can automate their entire recruiting process and hire faster than ever.
Sure. And then long term, let's talk 3 years down the line or 5 years down the line. What's the vision for that?
Our vision is one click to hire, just
Yes.
giving one click into the platform and being able for the AI to take care of the entire process. And you just make the decision which is a candidate that best suits the culture of your company, and give them the contract, sign it, but the AI will take care of everything for you. It's going to be a better way to hire than ever. So
Yeah.
that's our the future that we want to see.
Yeah. Well, we're almost to the end, but we've got a fun question to wrap up this podcast. So, if you had a magic wand, what is one thing that you would fix in your business that is holding you back or slowing you down?
That's a really good question. I think I'm gonna keep on to the obsession about sales, right? It's how we're gonna make a better sales cycle for the team to actually be very productive. Also, sales needs to embrace AI. So I think there's a lot of the sales process that is still takes a lot of time that could be automated through AI. And yeah, I think that's one of the things that I will solve. And the other one is like being able to, with just that magic wand, get the self-serving part and the agent
Yeah.
just work in the perfect manner that we need to.
No, this absolutely. I couldn't agree more. This needs to get in the hands of more recruiters just so they can take it for a drive and see how it makes them more efficient. They can get through a lot more candidates and screen better and have more meaningful interactions with the ones that are getting shortlisted, create value with a lot less time spent on wasted conversations. So,
Yes. I think you said the perfect phrase. This is spending less time into processes that are not bringing any value into the company, right?
exactly.
A recruiter is not meant to just answer questions over and over again. It's meant to actually talk with the people that will be the best fit for the company culture. So recruiters are the protectors of the culture of the company. First step into the culture are the ones that actually talk with the candidates and protect the entire company. So they need to have more time in their hands. They need to get that time back and being able to recruit better, right? And
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. Well, this has been a great conversation. So yeah, Ricardo, thank you so much for being on being a very special guest on this podcast. You are the first guest I've had from the recruiting space. So I think there's a lot of great thoughts that you've shared that will be very useful for some of our audience that is in that boat where, this use case might be very important to them. So appreciate your time on a busy travel day.
no, thank you. And it was very nice talking with you. I hope I was able to make a lot of a little bit of sense of what we do. And it was
Absolutely.
a great talk with you. And thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. The pleasure is mine.